Hello, everyone. It's Dr. T. I'm a tech trainer and career coach, and I help professionals transition to tech roles by leveraging their existing skills and experiences. Today, I'd like to talk to you about the tech writer role. Tech writers are responsible for creating clear, comprehensive documents that help users understand complex technical products, services, or systems. And they play a critical role in making information accessible and easy to understand for non-technical audiences as well. Let's look at the tech writing process to understand the steps involved in this role and the critical tasks that are essential to be successful in the role. So the tech writing process is a four-step process, pretty simple. It moves from planning to writing to reviewing and publishing. So let's take each step and talk about the task associated with each step. So planning is the first step. And here you want to confirm the scope, understand your audience, identify any reviewers, access style guides, create your document structure, and then set up any content management system that you'll be using. Within this planning phase, it's really your time to work collaboratively with the stakeholders to understand what the purpose of your document is. And they'll help you understand who the end user for the document is and what the intended outcome is for your document. So the planning phase is very important. You'll also be looking at who's going to review your document once you've created it. And some companies have a two-step review process where your peers may review the document first before it goes on to your stakeholder reviewers. And then some organizations work a bit leaner, and your first and only set of reviewers is the stakeholders that are engaged in the process. So you need to understand that process. You'll also want to gain access to any style guides that gives directions on templates and layouts, color schemes, placement of logos. You'll want to get that narrowed down during your planning phase so that when you start to write, you're using the right layout and the right formatting. As far as the document structure, here is where you're going to work either from an outline or work from a table of contents to start understanding where to place certain content elements and how to address the purpose of the document. And then that content management system is just the tool that you'll use to share documents for review, and then certainly to share the final draft of the document that you, as a tech writer, is responsible for publishing. Okay, step two is writing. So we talked about the tech writer's aim, which is really just to create documents that are accurate, up to date, accessible, and easy to comprehend for your intended audience. And that audience may have a technical background and expertise or not. So the best way to do this is to just write using plain English. So you may work with a set of stakeholders who have a deep and fairly well technical vocabulary, but it's your job as a tech writer to translate that into an easy to comprehend document for your end user and your intended audience. And in that, you'll need to be very clear and concise. So you'll want to relay any critical information and give just enough details to not overwhelm the end user, but to drive home that scope and the main key concepts. And then you'll use active voice. You'll give direction. You'll give information in the active tense. Okay, so let's move to step 3. We've planned, we've written the document, now we need to review it. And we talked a bit earlier in the planning phase about knowing who our reviewers are. You'll want to now take that draft that you've written plainly, concisely, in an active voice, and you'll want to share it with the reviewers, be it the peer reviewer, the stakeholder reviewer, to get that continuous feedback loop. You want to engage them early before you publish so that you can get an idea of the ability of the document to serve its purpose, and also to get any, recent findings or recent information that needs to be included in the final draft. So you'll get that feedback from them, and then you'll perform any edits and additional proofing based on the content that they've asked you to add or delete. Also within the review phase, you want to update a review log and maintain a review log. So as you get feedback from the various stakeholders, you want to note that feedback and what types of requests were made, and then when you made that update. And so that's your review log, or sometimes called a change log for the document. Once you've made your updates and you've made the final draft and gotten all the sign-offs that you need, you now are ready to publish. And here's where you'll make sure you have the right version number that's going to be communicated to your end user. You'll publish that final draft in the content management system that you established early on during the planning phase. And then you'll inform the stakeholders that the final draft is completed and where it's accessible from. Now let's talk about some of the tech writing tools. And if you don't have familiarity with these tools and their capabilities, this is a good list to start skill building with, and to be able to leverage these tools when you move into the role. So let's start with the desktop guides. Most companies use Microsoft Word. Word is a robust software that has built-in templates for various documentation purposes that are easily adaptable to whatever scope you have and whatever layout requirements or style requirements that the organization that you're writing for has. So it's a great tool. Most people have been using it for a while, and don't become overwhelmed by it, because it's a trial and error tool. It has a great help feature. So if a desktop guide is the tech writing that you are focused on, then Microsoft Word might be a good tool to use and become familiar with. Now, if you're creating PDFs, Adobe Acrobat Pro is often used by organizations as well, and great tool as well, very robust and fairly easy to use. Now, if you're editing or you're working in a collaborative document sharing type approach to flushing out some tech content, then Google Docs, Confluence, and Grammarly are great tools. Well, Grammarly is just for the editing side. Great, robust tool, really good at checking grammar, and can be used in conjunction with any of these other tools. If you're, your first draft, you can run it through Grammarly and get that feedback. And certainly if you're working on a peer review team and you have your colleagues' content that you are responsible for reviewing, Grammarly is a great tool. And again, Confluence and Google Docs is a great collaborative tool that allows more than one person to work on a document at one time. And then if you were creating any online help for software, RoboHelp is fairly frequently used. It's been around a while. It's a great tool to help with that help feature. Okay, so these are just a few of many tools that are available out there to begin to start understanding the functionality and why it's best used for the different content focus. Okay, so we've talked about the process. We've talked about some critical tasks and skills. We've talked about the tools that are available. Now let's talk about your focus on your transition. And we want to learn, leverage, and lead here. So as we just covered, there's a myriad of tech writing software out there. Learn a couple based on the types of documents you think you would be writing for the organization that you're targeting as a potential company to transition with. So if it's a software company, you want to become familiar with writing tech specs and potentially any online help that will go along with the software that the company might be producing. And then also elicitation techniques. So you may have the benefit of a business analyst in your writing, but you may not. You may be the individual that's actually scheduling your own interviews with the stakeholders to get that content that you need to write about. So you want to look into elicitation techniques such as the 5 whys, brainstorming. So make sure you are familiar with interviewing stakeholders and making the best use of their time as you gather your content. If we move to leveraging, we want to leverage any mentors. So start looking around LinkedIn and Facebook and finding groups that focus on tech writing, and join those groups and start asking questions and find out if there's someone that would allow you to shadow them to get that insight from someone who's working day to day in the field. And then make any lateral moves that will help you use your knowledge and expertise or to further define your knowledge and expertise to be a subject matter expert in an area, and then move to actually tech writing for that area. And there's certifications as well. We talked about stc.org. That's a great place to find mentors, career information, and certification information for technical communications and technical writing. And then lastly, but not least, looking for ways to volunteer, to get your feet wet and start producing documents and getting feedback. You could look at volunteering to create newsletters or press releases for a civic organization, because those documents have a specific purpose. And so that'll help you hone in on those planning skills, even the whole process. It'll take you through the whole process of planning, writing, reviewing, and then publishing. Another way to lead is also to look for a small business that may be looking for support in writing product specs for an upcoming product launch. That'll get you that hands-on experience as well. Okay, that's what I wanted to cover with you regarding the tech writing role. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thanks so much. Bye.